Most restaurant franchise operators I talk to right now are doing the same thing. They're buying AI scheduling tools, they're paying for AI training platforms, they're piloting voice AI at their drive-thrus, and 90% of them are still losing 15 to 20 hours a week to the same operational problems those tools were supposed to eliminate. That's not a technology problem, that's a systems problem wearing technology clothes. Every dollar spent on the software is a dollar sitting on top of a broken foundation, and the foundation doesn't fix itself just because you put better tools on top of it. Here's what nobody in the AI sales pitch will tell you. AI scales whatever you already have. If you've got documented, consistent processes, it scales your efficiency. If you don't, it scales your chaos. 91% of quick service franchise operators say labor is their #1 operational obstacle right now. Not technology access, not competition, labor management, consistency, systems that don't depend on one specific manager being physically present in the building. In the next 12 minutes, here's what we're covering. Why AI alone cannot fix the franchise consistency problem, what the operational systems actually have to look like before AI touches anything, and exactly where human AI teams are changing the math for multi-unit operators who are getting this right. Let's go. I'm Kevin. I work with Pro Sulum, and this one is specifically for you if you're running 2 to 5 franchise locations and you're still personally involved in decisions that your managers should be making without you. If you're curious whether a VSA fits your business, the link's in the description. It's just a conversation. Let's start with the numbers, because the numbers explain the whole problem. About half of all restaurant businesses close within their first 5 years. 82% of those failures are preventable through proper systems. That's from QSR industry research published this year. These businesses aren't failing because of bad food, bad locations, or bad marketing. They're failing because the operations aren't documented, aren't consistent, and can't survive the pressure of actual volume. Meanwhile, the AI tools in this space are genuinely working in the right conditions. Dairy Queen and other QSR brands are piloting Presto Voice AI for ordering. Oracle NetSuite and CrunchTime are running back-office automation. Push Operations has AI-driven scheduling that cuts manager time from 6 hours a week to 30 minutes. 52% of franchise brands now say AI reduces their operational costs. AI training platforms like Xenia and Cypher are hitting 95% completion rates for new hire training compared to under 5% for traditional LMS tools. That's real technology doing real work. So what's the gap between AI works and multi-unit operators still drowning? AI scheduling tools run on scheduling rules. If your rules aren't documented, the AI is inventing them. AI training platforms deliver content, but the content has to exist first. Food waste reduction tools need standardized PAR levels to work against. Voice AI for ordering needs consistent menu logic across locations. Every one of these tools requires the same thing underneath it, a documented, consistent, operational system. And that is the thing most franchise operators have not built yet. The technology isn't failing, the foundation it's sitting on isn't bare. Let me walk you through 5 specific systems. For each one, I'm going to give you the real picture of what building it yourself actually looks like. Then we'll talk about what happens when the AI runs on top of it. First system, training documentation. The AI platforms are genuinely impressive here. Cypher and Xenia are hitting 95% completion on training modules versus the industry average of under 5% for traditional methods. That's not a marginal improvement, that's a categorically different result. Multi-unit operators who switch see immediate improvements in new hire ramp time and cross-location consistency. But here's what the platform cannot do. It cannot pull tribal knowledge out of your best shift manager's head and turn it into structured, transferable training content. That requires a human doing documentation work. Someone has to sit with your top performers at each station, capture exactly what they do, and turn it into material that anyone hired next month can actually follow. You could build this yourself. Start with a master scheduling rule document. One document that defines every position, every shift window, every coverage minimum, and every exception scenario across all your locations. Validate it at your highest volume location first, then adopt it for each other unit. Plan on 4 to 6 weeks to build this properly. Maintenance is quarterly reviews and immediate updates whenever a location changes hours or layout. At steady state, that's about 2 hours per quarter per location. The friction point is that scheduling rules live inside your manager's experience, not on paper. Extracting them into a document requires dedicated time, and that time never appears naturally in an operational week. Something always takes priority. That is doable. The question is whether you want to be the one running it every week. Third system, customer experience consistency. This is the one that kills multi-unit franchises slowly, over years. The food is identical across locations. The menu is identical. But location 2 consistently feels slightly worse than location 1. Customers notice. They write reviews that reflect it. The gap compounds over time in ways that are hard to attribute to any single thing. The source is almost always undocumented service standards. What does handling a customer complaint look like exactly? What's the specific rush hour sequence? Who can offer a replacement item, under what conditions, and what does the follow-up look like? When those answers differ by manager and by location, the experience differs by manager and by location, every time. You could build this yourself. You'd create a service standards document that captures exact sequences, exact language, and decision rules for every common customer interaction scenario. You pull this by spending dedicated time at your best performing location during your best shifts. You capture what your best managers actually do, not what they think they do. Building it takes 2 to 3 months of capture, documentation, testing, and rollout across all your locations. Maintenance is quarterly reviews when standards need updating after menu changes or operational shifts. The friction point is that service excellence tends to be embodied in 1 or 2 specific people per location. Translating that into transferable documentation is slow, uncomfortable work that nobody ever schedules time for. That is doable. The question is whether you want to be the one running it every week. If what we've been talking about sounds like your situation, there's a link in the description to book a free call with my team. No pitch. We just talk about your business, what's not working, and whether a VOSA is actually the right fit. If it's not, we'll tell you that too. Fourth system, food ordering and waste control. Food waste costs the restaurant industry $162 billion annually. Most of that is a documentation problem. PAR levels differ by location, by manager, by whoever placed the last order and how busy they were when they did it. AI tools exist that can reduce waste significantly, but they need standardized ordering parameters to work against. Without consistent inputs, you're optimizing against a moving target. You could build this yourself. Start with a PAR level audit across all your locations. 1 week of systematic inventory counts tied to actual sales data by day, by shift, and by item category. Then build a master ordering template that defines PAR levels, reorder triggers, and exactly who orders what, when, and how. Setup is 4 to 6 weeks for the initial build. Monthly reviews of PAR levels and immediate updates whenever menu items change or operational shifts. The friction point is that ordering gets done differently every time when there's no enforced system, and changing that requires consistent follow-through from every manager at every location simultaneously. No exceptions, no improvisation. That is doable. The question is whether you want to be the one running it every week. Fifth system, cross-location performance reporting. Most multi-unit operators run on intuition and lag. They know which location is struggling because they're physically there, or because a manager texts them, or because the month-end numbers look wrong. By then, whatever caused the problem has been running for weeks or months. Real visibility across locations requires a reporting system, consistent KPI definitions across every unit, consistent data collection, someone reviewing the numbers on a schedule, not just when something feels off. You could build this yourself. Define 5 to 8 metrics that matter across every location: labor cost percentage, food cost percentage, customer complaint rate, average ticket, and waste percentage, for example. Set up automated data pulls from your POS system. Build a simple weekly review format and establish exactly who looks at what and when, with a clear escalation path when a metric goes out of range. Build time is 4 to 8 weeks, depending on your POS system's reporting capabilities. Quarterly metric reviews after that. The friction point is that data without consistent review is just storage. The reporting system requires a human following a review process every single week without exception for it to mean anything. Data hygiene alone takes time.
That is doable. The question is whether you want to be the one running it every week. Here's where the human-AI team math changes completely. When these 5 systems exist, the AI tools deliver their actual promise. The Cypher platform hits 95% completion, running against the content the VSA built. Push operations cut scheduling by 80%, running against the rules the VSA documented. The food waste tool works against the par levels the VSA established. The reporting dashboard gives you real cross-location visibility because someone follows the review process the VSA set up every single week. The VSA's work is what unlocks the AI's promised value, not the other way around. Here's what that model looks like in practice. The VSA works alongside whoever currently owns each process. They document it as it happens, not after the fact. They build the system structure while the operation is running, without stopping the business to do it. Then they own the system going forward. That's the model. Pro Sulum deploys VSAs across more than 40 industries. The cost runs about half of what an in-house operations manager would cost. For a multi-unit franchise operator who needs systems built simultaneously across 3 to 5 locations, that cost difference compounds fast. And the alternative isn't no cost. The alternative is the owner building the systems personally, which means doing $30 to $50 an hour work at their own pay rate indefinitely, while the AI tools they purchased run against an unstable foundation. Here's something nobody talks about when they're excited about a new AI tool. Adding technology to a broken process speeds up the broken process. That's the only outcome available. If the scheduling logic is wrong, the AI runs the wrong logic faster. If the training content is inconsistent, the platform delivers inconsistency at 95% completion. If ordering par levels vary by location, the waste tool optimizes against chaos. If the performance reporting isn't built on consistent KPIs, the dashboard is just noise. The 5% of franchise operators who are seeing real AI results started with documentation, consistent processes before the technology. That's not coincidence. If you're at the point where you know something has to change, book a call. It's free. You talk to someone on my team, not a bot, not a form. You tell them what's going on in your business. They'll be straight with you about whether a VSA makes sense for where you are right now. If it does, you'll hear what that looks like and what it costs. If it doesn't, you'll know that too, and you're not out anything. The link's in the description. Just book it. And if this was useful, hit subscribe. We put out one of these every week.